Good afternoon and welcome to this Kuwait television live coverage of the visit of His Highness the Crown Prince Sheikh Mish'al Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, may Allah protect him, to China. The history between the state of Kuwait and China exemplifies friendly and harmonious relations, as the state of Kuwait was the first Gulf country to establish official and full diplomatic relations with the People's Republic of China. The two allies have always maintained a deeply rooted relationship based on mutual respect and support for one another. Kuwait is also a major ally of ASEAN and a regional ally of China. Moreover, China has been Kuwait's largest source of imports and the biggest trading partner. A symbiotic economic relationship, similar development philosophies, and deep convergence of interests mean the enormous potential and broad prospects of China-Kuwait cooperation. The strategic Kuwait-China relationship has been evolving, serving aspirations of the two countries, namely the respect of development schemes. Here's more in the following report.
Since His Highness the Crown Prince Sheikh Mish'al Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah assumed office in 2020, this is the first visit by the Kuwaiti Crown Prince to China and the first by a Kuwaiti leader since the visit of the late Emir Sheikh Sabah Ahmed Al-Sabah in 2018. His Highness the Crown Prince visit to Beijing at the invitation of Chinese President Xi Jinping as part of the Gulf country's effort to consolidate its relationship with the second largest economy in the world. Also, trade relations between the two countries have witnessed a continuous increase since 1985, as it was the first bilateral agreement to develop and protect investment between the two countries. The investment in the People's Republic of China was held in Kuwait in 1986, which witnessed an agreement on Kuwait's contribution to 16 projects in China, and the value of trade exchange between the two countries reached at the time $140 million. In December 1989, the number of projects implemented by Chinese companies in Kuwait was 75, and the number of Chinese laborers in Kuwait reached about 5,000 workers. After the liberation of Kuwait, Chinese engineers contributed to extinguishing the oil wells that were ignited by the Iraqi forces in the Burgan field, and the Chinese Petroleum Engineering Company also implemented the restoration project of the Al Ahmadi oil refinery.
The State of Kuwait and the People's Republic of China. The strength of relations gave birth to a distinguished partnership and sophisticated collaboration. The strategic partnership of Kuwait and China is actively expressed through their mutual support and solid friendship. The State of Kuwait and the People's Republic of China, a long history of goodwill and consistent partnership.
Welcome again to Kuwait Television live coverage of His Highness the Crown Prince's Sheikh Mish'al Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, may Allah protect him, visit to China. His Highness the Crown Prince, Sheikh Mish'al Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, may Allah protect him, embarked on an official visit to China and attended the opening ceremony of the 19th Asian Olympic Games at the invitation of Chinese President Xi Jinping, marking a significant milestone in the evolving Kuwaiti-Chinese relationship. It is worth mentioning that in 2013, China launched the Belt and Road Initiative, known as the Silk Road, which includes a huge series of projects in which the Gulf has a large share. Kuwait was the first Arab country to sign a memorandum of understanding for cooperation and coordination with China, as the initiative intersects with the Kuwait 2035 development plan, which aims to transform Kuwait into a global financial and commercial center. This report will delve into the key objectives of the visit, with a focus on strengthening bilateral ties and expanding cooperation between Kuwait and Beijing. Stay tuned.
His Highness the Crown Prince Sheikh Mish'al Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah embarked on an official visit to China, marking a considerable breakthrough in the growing Kuwaiti-Chinese bond. The visit by His Highness the Crown Prince comes with a focus on strengthening bilateral ties and expanding cooperation between Kuwait and Beijing. The expected outcomes from this visit can be summed in many points, such as enhancing economic cooperation, one of the primary objectives of His Highness the Crown Prince's visit, to bolster economic ties between the two nations, with a particular emphasis on trade, investment and infrastructure development. Diplomatic dialogue. The visit offers a valuable opportunity for diplomatic discussions where both nations can engage in dialogue on regional and global issues of mutual interest, fostering greater cooperation. Historical diplomatic relations. Kuwait's distinction as the first Gulf state to establish full-scale diplomatic relations with China in 1971 underscores the historical foundation of their relationship. Moreover, the visit is expected to result in strengthening bilateral ties, opening up new avenues for cooperation in multiple domains, and reinforcing the already robust Kuwaiti-Chinese relations.
Kuwait and China. Historical relations and future prospects. 52 years of historical relations between the State of Kuwait and the People's Republic of China. Distinctive ties and advanced partnership. The visit of His Highness the Crown Prince to the People's Republic of China puts the Kuwaiti-Chinese partnership on the path of comprehensive development.
Here is China with its Great Wall. A new window opens from Hangzhou in the heart of the Chinese Republic, sharing the event with you. The Kuwaiti-Chinese relations have gone through decades of excellence and now continuing towards further progress. Kuwait and China, historical relations for sustainable partnership.
Continuing our live coverage of the visit of His Highness the Crown Prince Sheikh Mish'al Al-Ahmad Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, may Allah protect him, to China. Joining us over the phone, our correspondent to KTV, Ms. Manayir Al-Gallaf, to update us on this special visit. Good afternoon, Manayir, and thank you for taking the time to talk with us.
Good afternoon.
Can you tell us further details of the visit of His Highness the Crown Prince to China?
Yes, as you know that His Highness the Crown Prince Sheikh Mish'al Al-Ahmad Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, may Allah protect him, is in an official visit in China to attend the opening ceremony tomorrow on September 23rd of the 90th Asian Olympic Games. The invitation was from the Chinese President Xi Jinping, also to look more into the bilateral relations among the two nations. The 90th Asian Games in Hangzhou is considered the biggest, and it will be a lot of athletes from 45 countries and regions competing in 40 sports for 481 gold medals over the 16 days. The thing that the opening ceremony of the 90th Asian Olympic Games, where sports delegations from Kuwait also participate, consisting of 141 male and female players competing in 25 individual and team games. This 90th Asian Games in Hangzhou considered as the biggest as I mentioned. Yesterday, His Highness Sheikh Mish'al Al-Ahmad Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, may Allah protect him, met the Kuwaiti athletes to encourage them to win and to raise Kuwait's name in the world. It is really interesting that China and Kuwait has a really special bilateral relation since 1971. So it's really great to bond and to strengthen this special relationship between Kuwait and China.
And how did this endeavor reflect on the bilateral relations between the two countries?
The bilateral meeting started to open new horizons with this visit among the two countries. As I mentioned, that it is a very old relationship since 1971. So there are various aspects behind the establishment of this partnership to understand the extent of economic engagement and relationship between the two nations. I would like to add that also China and Kuwait face a new opportunity to expanding bilateral ties. Today, there was a really fruitful meeting. His Highness the Crown Prince Sheikh Mish'al Al-Ahmad Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, may Allah protect him, met the chairman of Supervisory Board of Huawei Go Fink, chairman of Huawei in Middle East and Central Asia, Shanxi, and president of Huawei Technologies for Northern Gulf region. So the Huawei executive agreed that His Highness the Crown Prince would receive them as his residence in Hangzhou about projects and achievements of the company, the state of Kuwait. They also talked about the quest to provide best information technology and communication services in Kuwait. So these are really great agreements and meetings going on between His Highness and the chairman in Huawei, and I provide you absolutely about anything updates around this special visit regarding to His Highness Sheikh Al-Ahmad Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, may Allah protect him.
Well, Ms. Al-Gallaf, we appreciate your insight and we thank you for your time. That was our correspondent, Ms. Manayir Al-Gallaf, working diligently from the scene to update us, of course, from China. The visit of His Highness the Crown Prince Sheikh Mish'al Al-Ahmad Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, may Allah protect him, to the People's Republic of China is of great importance because of its major role in strengthening the political and economic partnership between the two countries. In a special interview with Kuwait TV, the ambassador of the People's Republic of China to the country, Zhang Jianwei, confirmed that the Chinese-Kuwaiti relations are distinguished and are a role model for exchanges and have reached a high level of development and prosperity, indicating this country's determination to strengthen economic and trade cooperation with Kuwait. Here's more.
بلا إصالة عن نفسي ونيابة عن سفارة جمهورية الصين الشعبية يطيب لي أن أتقدم إلى المشاهدين بخالص التحيات. قد مدى أكثر من عام منذ وصولي إلى الكويت لممارسة مهام العمل كسفير الصيني، ومن خلال تلك السنة شعرت دائما بعمق الصداقة الصينية الكويتية المتجذرة تجاه الصين والشعب الصيني، ويقدرون إنجازات التنموية التي حققتها الصين منذ إقامة علاقات دبلوماسية مع البلدين. ظلت الصين والكويت تحافظان على التواصل الوثيق المتعلق بالمصالح الجوهرية والهموم الكبرى لكل من الجانبين. في مجال التعاون الاقتصادي حافظت الصين باستمرار على مكانها كأكبر شريك تجاري للكويت لمدة 7 سنوات متتالية. تعد الكويت سابع أكبر مصدر لواردات النفط الخام إلى الصين. إن الكويت أول دولة في الشرق الأوسط وقعت وثيقة التعاون في إطار مبادرة حزام طريق مع الصين، وتنظر الصين دائما إلى الكويت كشريك مثالي وطبيعي في بناء مشترك للحزام الطريق. في السنوات الأخيرة شاركت شركات صينية بنشاط في بناء مشاريع في مجالات الطاقة وإسكان وبنية التحتية وغيرها، حيث قدمت مساهمات مهمة لصالح الشعب الكويتي. كما شهد التعاون بين البلدين في مجال الاستثمار واتصالات الجيل الخامس وغيرها من التوسع والتعمق. في مجال التبادل الشعبي قد بدأ تشغيل تجريبي لمركز الثقافي الصيني في الكويت، والذي يعتبر أول من نوعها في منطقة دول الخليج. وسنقيم سلسلة من الأنشطة الثقافية في المركز في المستقبل ليصبح منصة مهمة للتبادلات الثقافية بين البلدين الصديقين. هذا أول زيارة لسموه للصين بعد توليه منصب ولي العهد، وسيلتقي بسموه القائد الصيني. تعد هذه الزيارة زيارة تاريخية ستعزز بشكل فعال صداقة تقليدية بين البلدين، وتعمق الثقة الاستراتيجية المتبادلة بين البلدين، وستعزز التعاون العملي بين البلدين. ويحرص الجانب الصيني على العمل مع الجانب الكويتي لإنجاح هذه الزيارة وتعزيز الموائمة بين الاستراتيجيات التنموية للبلدين، وارتقاء بمستوى التعاون في إطار بناء مشترك لمبادرة حزام الطريق إلى مستوى أشمل، مما يفتح فصلا جديدا في علاقات الشراكة الاستراتيجية بين الصين والكويت.
The State of Kuwait and the People's Republic of China. The strength of relations gave birth to a distinguished partnership and sophisticated collaboration. The strategic partnership of Kuwait and China is actively expressed through their mutual support and solid friendship. The State of Kuwait and the People's Republic of China, a long history of goodwill and consistent partnership.
Welcome again to Kuwait Television live coverage of His Highness the Crown Prince Sheikh Mish'al Al-Ahmed Al-Jabr Al-Sabah, may Allah protect him's visit to China, with our guest here in the studio, Mr. Maytham Al-Shakhs, an economic researcher. Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Maytham.
Hi, and good afternoon, Follow.
Well, we have a lot to dive into, so we'll dive into it immediately. Yeah. Can you tell us what is the importance of the visit, deepening relations between the two countries?
Okay, first of all, I'll begin with the title, you have it here, which is the sustainable relationship between Kuwait and China, especially in side of historical issue, which is beginning of 1971, which is before 52 years. That beginning of the economy relationship between Kuwait and China, which was by visiting from Ministry of Finance of Kuwait. That time was the last or His Highness Sheikh Jaber
Yes.
Al Sabah, and he take a first step for China in beginning of this relationship. So I think in this point, nobody that time is thinking about making relationship as economy side with China, because it was very poor country. It was publicly too many people under line of poor that time. But after a while, we see that was a future point of His Highness. Instead of thinking about this country, it will be one of the important country in the world. Now we rank it as from a power of economic. You can say that China is in between second. Sometime you can say the first country in some sectors in economy, but in total it's after U.S. In the power of economy. So before a days we was here and we discussed about visiting His Highness the Crown Prince Sheikh Mish'al, may Allah save him. That time was visiting UK. Those relations in between Kuwait and all countries, even US as a part of the economy power of world or globe, you can say that all visiting instead of the high leaders in Kuwait, it's taken a part of what will happen in the future. So in this case, we have, as you have in reports, Silk Road, which is the most important project. I think it's the mega project in Kuwait, depending on future of income, neither of oil. So we can say that the importance of any visit nowadays, that mean is need for another income instead of oil, because this sector or the market of oil is not sustainable.
Yes.
The market is have some drops, main drops.
Unpredictable.
Yes, sometimes we see that oil goes to $35. So there's a high risk in this sector. So
imports and exports from that Silk Road.
I think those visits is minimize the risk of the income of Kuwait. That is mean the plan of any economy in the any way, even if company or the world or the country, it's depend on minimize the risk and maximize the income at the same time. The income here comes between Kuwait and China in relationship of we can say products, logistics, a lot of things, expertise. The projects in Kuwait itself need expertise from China, because we see everyone can now appoint of any products from China as high quality, not as before. In the starting of revolution, economic revolution of China, you can see the products wasn't that very good packing or the very good quality. Nowadays, you can see all levels of quality. You have a high quality, you have low quality. They make a new life of any products, any goods in this sentence. So I think the most important thing today, every country need to be with China in a good relationship, especially in aspect of economy.
Considering the mutual partnership between Kuwait and China, tell us about the importance of the contribution of investment in development and capabilities?
Okay, nowadays we have around 31 billion dollar as a trades between Kuwait and China. 6 billion we import from China. We export for them around 25 billion dollars. Mostly is oil. So I think it wasn't in this level. Before 1 or 2 years back, it was under 20 billion dollars. So we have a good trades. We have over trades for us instead of trading with China. But nowadays, after the file of Russia and Ukraine, all countries need, which is like China needs to buy oil, they have a haircut of barrels in aspect of the globe price. It's under that price with $10 or $20 sometime. So nowadays, if you cannot be like the most important relation in that way, you have to sustainable with those countries in the same level. So you have the competitor countries in your field, which is oil. So nowadays we have to concentrate that all Asian countries, China, India, Japan, all those countries need to be in a good relationship with Kuwait and sustainable level of oiling products with them. So I think now in China they have the good price from our other countries. So I think if you have the share market as it is, it's very good for Kuwait. So the share market is very important for Kuwait nowadays. So I think after China, I believe that is other countries, they will be in the target to be in the level of if we couldn't make a higher share market with them in the concept of oil, I think it's much better to be a sustainable level and searching other countries like Europe and African or whatever countries need oil.
Collaborating basically and realizing our potential economically.
Yes, this is one of the important things. The other side of the things we need to look forward at, which is how to use the technology of what they have in China instead of Europe or beside Europe technology or US technology. So I think, as I told you before, it's risk management. So I think we're looking for a safe database in Kuwait, a safe using technology. You know, nowadays it's very risky in using any technology, even mobiles or smart technology. Nowadays is need to be in security, high security. This is one thing. Also, if you can see Kuwait Investment Authority looking forward to any opportunities in level of companies, banks, any sectors which is potential, very good potential instead of profits. So I think it's, as example, 2006, Kuwait invested with one of the biggest banks in China with I think $820 million. After 5 years, it becomes $1.7 billion. That is, they success in this investment. So they thinking about invest in another sectors, which is nowadays you can see the China products is in each country. I don't think there's any in the globe, any country, they don't have any products, any goods China's made of. So I think in this part, we need to be in a good partnership with China and all things like that.
What kind of economic development can we expect from this visit? Like what kind of projects and agreements will be signed, you know?
Yeah. Okay. We have a mega project, 3 mega projects here. The new airport, we have Mbarak Port, and we have Sabia city, which is depend on making all trades shops in Kuwait. So as exhibitions in way they will make it as the biggest area or the biggest city in the world, which is care of exhibitions. So those three mega projects need expertise and minimize the cost and make the quality as best of, and the most important things, the time. China nowadays, they have developed most projects with aspect of time and quality in way that all people understand that they have a good tools to do it. So I think in those three mega projects, I know in Kuwait Airport now we signed with Limak, which is Turkish company. But I don't think it's not a good idea that bringing some idea from China to handle this airport, to handle another part of any districts beside the airport. So I think the most important, how to use this airport to make it a large logistic airport for all the world, and depending on China products. That is mean we need it from the seaside, Mubarak Port. From the air side is Kuwait Airport, the new Terminal 2, which is now I think we expect it with less than 1 year they will open it. So in this aspect, we need to be a part of the world, first of all. So the Silk Road depends on two powers, the buyers and the sellers. The buyers from Europe side or another countries, the sellers is from China and some other countries. So I think if you be able to be in the middle, that is fantastic. This is what you need to do it as a country.
To realize our potential.
This is what you need today to make some contracts with Chinese to bring them as in the logistics sector.
Well, we need to hold that thought. We have a Skype. We have a lot to cover. We'll be back about that. And joining us via Skype, Mr. Qindo Zhu, political analyst, senior fellow at Pangol Institution, to elaborate on the strategic and economic cooperation between the state of Kuwait and China. Hello, Mr. Qindo.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
What does this visit signify about the strength of the relationship between Kuwait and China?
Well, I think this, I think a lot of people, if they follow the relationship between China and Kuwait, you realize that the friendship and the relationship is profound and long. Let's say since 1971, Kuwait became the first Gulf country to recognize the new country, actually, People's Republic of China. And since 1982, Kuwait has actually provided the most, I would say, government concessional loans to the Chinese side. In terms of infrastructure construction, in terms of building a college in central China. So people keep that in mind. And, when we talk about Belt and Road Initiative, we often say it's not Chinese investment, Chinese companies building and constructing bridges, ports, roads, highways, railways. But at least during that period of time, Kuwait was actually helping China and providing a lot of concessional loans to the Chinese side. So the relationship has been based on very solid, very solid the interaction between the two governments, between the two peoples. For example, very recently, there's a trial run of the Chinese Culture Center. The demand of the people in Kuwait to understand, to learn more about China, about Chinese culture. I think that's very helpful because people-to-people exchange, people-to-people relationship is the fundamental foundation for the bilateral relationship between Kuwait, which is, in terms of population, a small nation, and China, in terms of population, the largest or the second largest country in the world.
Can you tell us a bit about economic significance in the visit and any highlights you may have noted?
Well, I think the economic significance. This is probably we go back a little bit to the pandemic time, 3 years pandemic. In 2014, Kuwait became the first Gulf country to sign up to this Belt and Road Initiative, and since then, both agree with each other on a number of programs, to build a safe city, for example. This is also to align the Belt and Road Initiative with the Kuwait 2035 Vision 2035. So to diversify over-reliance, I would say a little bit, on oil and gas, then technological development, innovation-driven development, and of course, the building of infrastructure in this country. But because of the pandemic, there is a slowdown. Some of the programs affected obviously, and there is an issue about whether we need a certainty. We need a certain that the Chinese investment to the construction of the Silk City and other projects for Vision 2025. So I would
well,
say that,
we seem to have some technical sound difficulties. Mr. Qian Do, we thank you for your time and insight. That was the political analyst, Mr. Qian Do Zhou. Moving on to this report, dear viewers, as China and Kuwait established a strategic partnership creating new opportunities for Kuwait, which aspires to diversify its economy and seek investment opportunities. The remarkable surge in trade in 2022 volumes between Kuwait and China to more than $30 billion is the central focus of this report, emphasizing the economic independence and growth in their relationship. Stay tuned.
The astonishing rise in trade volumes between Kuwait and China to a historic $31.48 billion as of 2022 is a major highlight emphasizing the economic interdependence and growth of the relationship between Kuwait and China. Therefore, in trade volume growth, record-breaking figures were recorded when the trade volume between the two nations reached a historic high, underscoring the increasing economic interdependence and the mutually beneficial nature of their trade relationship. For the diversification of trade between the two nations, volume surge is not limited to a single sector, indicating diversification and the potential for collaboration across various industries. Moreover, in the economic interdependence, the burgeoning trade volumes highlight the growing economic mutuality between Kuwait and China, with both nations benefiting from their trade and economic cooperation. Additionally, bilateral agreements and initiatives aimed at facilitating trade, such as preferential trade agreements and reduced trade barriers, have also played a pivotal role in boosting trade volumes. In conclusion, the remarkable surge in trade volumes between Kuwait and China is indicative of their growing economic interdependence, diversification of trade portfolios, and the mutual benefits derived from their partnership as both nations continue to explore new opportunities and collaborations. This upward trajectory in trade volumes is likely to persist, solidifying their position as key players in the global trade arena.
Kuwait and China, historical relations and future prospects. 52 years of historical relations between the State of Kuwait and the People's Republic of China. Distinctive ties and advanced partnership. The visit of His Highness the Crown Prince to the People's Republic of China puts the Kuwaiti-Chinese partnership on the path of comprehensive development.
Here is China with its Great Wall. A new window opens from Hangzhou in the heart of the Chinese Republic, sharing the event with you. The Kuwaiti-Chinese relations have gone through decades of excellence and now continuing towards further progress. Kuwait and China, historical relations for sustainable partnership.